Welcome everyone to my favorite video of the year, the 2025 bullet journal setup video. This is one of my doc grid journals that I launched about a year or 2 years ago. Hard to remember the exact date, but I'm planning in the clay color today. They've got these lovely linen covers. There's an elastic to go around, an elastic pin loop. You can see 2 ribbon bookmarks, and the paper, of course, is stark white 160 GSM doc grid paper. That was the most important part for me in designing these journals, was that I had pages that were nice and thick enough that you can paint in them, you can color multiple layers, and it won't soak through or ghost or anything like that. And these journals are on a massive clearance right now, because for those of you who have been around for a while, you know that I have not been using a physical bullet journal for an entire year now. I have been in a digital bullet journal. I am loving it. I don't have any regrets at this point. And so these journals, as much as I absolutely loved designing them and using them and sharing them with you all, they are on clearance right now as I have kind of pivoted into the digital space. And I may talk a little bit more about that later. May not entirely sure. But the other thing I wanted to say starting this video off is that this video is a giveaway. Like I said, I have not been using a physical bullet journal for a year now. At the beginning of 2024, I moved into my customizable digital bullet journal, and I absolutely love it. You get to choose a different theme each month. The themes are all done for you. You can choose different layouts for things like weekly spreads, calendars, habit trackers, all of that. And it just fits my current life so much better than a physical bullet journal. So because of that, this setup here is not for me. This is for one of you. I thought it would still be so fun to share this annual video with you. I haven't not done a yearly setup video since 2020, and so I thought it would be a shame to miss out on this opportunity. So I decided to make one for one of you guys to win instead. And all of the giveaway instructions are going to be over on Instagram. That is where I spend most of my time these days. I am not really on YouTube anymore. So you can follow me on Instagram. That's going to be linked below, along with pretty much everything that I talk about in this video. So the marker colors that I use here, these are Tombow dual tip brush pens. I'm going to have the color codes linked down below. I also have all of my favorite stationery linked down below, and the digital bullet journal. If you are at all interested in digital planning on your iPad or your laptop or something like that, or even if you want to print them out, I know many people do download them to print out a new theme each month, and so you can definitely do that too, and that will be linked below as well. So now that you totally already see the theme and everything going here, let's talk about it. I have got paint rollers, and that is so nostalgic for me because when I first started on YouTube, my first ever yearly plan with me was a paint roller theme. And so I had started posting bullet journal videos in like August, I think, of that year, and had gotten very little traction, was really struggling to grow in any significant way on YouTube. And that yearly plan with me video went the most viral that I've ever had anything go. It was about 500,000 views. And that was huge for my channel and for my whole journey in this bullet journaling space. And so I decided to kind of throw it back. This is a variation of that. I'm going to link the original one over here. This is, a variation, but I thought it would be fun to just include that sort of nostalgic bit. So I've got a bunch of paint rollers and the heading for 2025, along with a key, which I'm going to leave blank for whoever ends up winning this journal to put in the different, symbols that you use. And one thing that I'm always very intentional with my bullet journal themes here on YouTube, especially with yearly setups, is just keeping it really accessible. All I'm going to be using in this video are markers. Okay, I do use some stamps, but they are stamps of my own handwriting, so I may as well be using markers. I just wanted to show you guys the stamps, but everything in this video can be done with just markers, and it does not need to be fancy markers. These are Tombow dual tip brush pens. Honestly, if I didn't bullet journal like in the on the internet, I would just be using Crayola markers all the time. These were gifted to me by brands over the years. You do not need to buy fancy supplies. The most important, fancier supply, I would say, would be a journal that has actually thick pages. I know when I started off with a bullet journal that had doc grid pages, but they were only 100 GSM thick. And so every single page, it was just bleeding, leaking through, ghosting. I would like skip a page between every entry. It was such a disaster. So that's, I would say, if you're just getting started, that's the thing that you do want to invest in, is a high quality journal. But aside from that, you really can go with very, very few fancy supplies. So for this setup, I'm just using markers. I'm not using any washi tape or any stickers or anything fancy. So now that we're done the title page, I'm moving on to the next yearly spreads here. And since this journal isn't for me, I just wanted to make some like kind of generic spreads that I think anyone could enjoy. So this page here is going to be a goodbye 2024, hello 2025, kind of a space to reflect and to look forward, set some goals, and just kind of set the tone for the year ahead. If you are a bullet journaler or a digital planner or anything like that, I would love to hear, have you already set up for next year? And if so, what was your theme or your color palette or whatever you chose to use for 2025? So fun fact about this video, I came into this video actually without a plan, which is always a bad idea. When I was doing YouTube all the time, I would always, like kind of sketch out my videos, at least loosely in advance, and plan out, pick my color palette, all of that stuff. But this video honestly was a bit of an afterthought, I'm ashamed to say. I just kind of was like, oh, it is the time of year where I should be posting a yearly setup video. It was not even on my radar since I'm not setting up my own bullet journal for the year. And so I literally told my husband that at supper. I was like, I don't think I should go to swimming lessons with my toddler tonight. I think I should just quickly pound out this video because it's just that time of year. And so we got everything set up, and I just kind of winged it, wung it, whatever. But I think I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. There are definitely some things that I would have changed if I were to redo it, but I feel like when you're looking at your own work, it's always that way if you plan ahead. But let me know, what are some spreads that you really feel like you need at the beginning of the year? Do you do a reflection and goal setting page like this? I know for me, like the future log and the when did I last page were like absolute non-negotiables. I need those, and I still use those in my digital bullet journal. But I would love to hear from you what your kind of non-negotiable yearly bullet journal spreads are. Moving on to the next page here, this is going to be page 1 of the future log. So this one is going to have 6 months, and then the next page will have the next 6 months. So I'm dividing this space here into 6 different columns, and on the top I'm going to be using this kind of fun serif font to write future log, and at the bottom I'm going to be doing some more paint roller strokes. And that's the other thing about making themes accessible. It's not just, the supplies are very accessible. You just need markers. Go grab the Crayola Super Tips, grab them when they're on a back to school sale. That's what I did to start my YouTube channel. I literally just bought a journal and a box of Crayola Super Tips, and that's what got me started in this space. But the other thing is just keeping the themes doable, there are many, many talented artists in this space who I love to watch their content, but it's just very out of reach for me. I don't consider myself like much of an artist. I'm more of a doodler, and so I like to make themes that anyone can do. Anyone can draw curved lines and then draw a little paint roller at the end of them, and you come out with a really cute theme that looks like you put a lot more work into it than you did. And if lettering is what you struggle with, again, this lettering, I just winged it, wung it, whatever. I'm not the hugest fan of some details. I look at the U and I'm like, what is going on? Something is wrong with that. But if you struggle with lettering, my biggest piece of advice, if you just want like a very specific look for a specific theme, is to go to a font website like dafont.com or something, and it lets you type in the exact words you want as like a preview of that font. So just type in the words that you want, future log or whatever, and then just copy and copy again and copy again until you get a result that you like. That's a really easy way. Well, I guess I shouldn't say easy. It does take work to master hand lettering for sure, but that's a pretty good way to get a font that you like in your journal. Now these are the stamps that I was talking about. These stamps have my handwriting on them, which I am so proud of. I'm going to be using the abbreviated month set. So what I love about these stamps is the stackable part. Like, look at this. You've got all 12 months of the year. You can just stack them on top of each other and store them on your desk, and they don't take up a lot of space. I'm using the abbreviated months. There is also a collection with the full months of the year, as well as the days of the week, and then just some little bonuses. Oh yeah, here's the full months of the year. These were launched by Contact Crafts. I partnered with them to launch the stamp set, and I want to share those with you as well. The link is going to be down below. If you know, the fonts, the hand lettering is the part that you struggle with when it comes to bullet journaling, grabbing something like this can be a great investment to get you started if that's kind of the intimidating piece. So you can head down to my link down below, or I will also be giving away one set of those on Instagram as well. So if you want any of this giveaway action, follow me over on Instagram. That is the place to be. Moving on to page 2 of the future log. I want to share, just for those of you who have been following my channel for a while, I get this question more than any other question on Instagram, and it's, when are you coming back to YouTube? Why did you stop posting on YouTube? Are you going to be back? And I guess the short answer is I don't really plan to come back to YouTube, at least not in the capacity that I was before. I've been posting YouTube shorts and that works well for me, but when I started my channel, it was in the thick of COVID. I had nothing else to do. I lived far away from my family. I was newly married and just so isolated. And so spending hours designing custom bullet journals and posting YouTube videos honestly kept me sane in that time. And my husband is really into videography. I am not. Like, literally how it's always been with my YouTube channel is he sets up the camera, he adjusts the coloring, the white balance, whatever, all those fancy words, and I press play when I want to record or start or whatever. I know nothing about filming and video editing, and so it really was a two-man, two-person job. And yeah, now that we have 2 kids, it just isn't realistic for me to be doing custom bullet journals anymore, which was really lots of the fuel for my YouTube channel, was custom bullet journals. And then also sitting down to film a long video like this took me, I think, about an hour and a half to film. But then there's also, editing and often like planning out a theme and kind of drafting it and stuff like that. It's just a big time commitment. And so I have shifted towards digital planning and short form content purely because it fits my lifestyle better in this season. I love being able to just have everything on my iPad and not have, like this planner and this bullet journal and this pencil case with supplies and this shelf with extra supplies. Everything is on my iPad. I love that. And then with short form content, like, I don't need to know about video editing to post a reel on Instagram, And so that has been working much better for me. And so, yes, there are ways in which I miss this season where I was constantly on YouTube sharing custom bullet journal flip throughs with you guys. That was such a positive thing for me during COVID. In this season, it really has been a positive move to move away from that sort of thing. So you can still find me. I'm very active on Instagram these days with digital bullet journaling, but of course you can take, inspiration from those themes, those layouts, whatever, and apply them to your physical bullet journal. And even with the digital bullet journal itself, like I mentioned earlier, you can, take pages or entire themes, entire months, and print them out and use them as a physical bullet journal. If you're not into the whole digital thing, that definitely works too. As for the digital bullet journal, if you are at all interested, I think it's really neat. I know the reason that I didn't start digital planning earlier is because I just felt like there was something so special about a paper planner, and I could never find a digital planner that could really replicate that feeling for me. And what I have done with my digital bullet journal, I feel like, is the closest that I have ever gotten to feeling like I'm using a physical planner, a physical bullet journal, but having all of the convenience of having it digital. Everything is just in my iPad. I can copy paste, I can erase if I make a mistake. I can duplicate pages, move them around, take any pictures. If I want to make like a little memory keeping collage, which I love to do, I can just grab pictures from my camera roll. I don't need to, buy a printer, buy paper, print them out, And so I really do love that. And so if you're interested at all in checking that out, that's going to be linked below as well. And there is a free version for December. If you're watching this in December and you want to just give it a try or print it out, you can grab the free one too, and that's going to be linked down below as well. And that's the beauty really of like, you know, being a content creator, I suppose I could call myself, is you really can pivot it to fit the season of life that you're in. You know, when I started my bullet journaling channel, I didn't really give it that much thought. I wasn't like, okay, this is what I want to do for the next 5 to 10 years, but it very, very quickly became my full-time income. And so I was pretty tied to that and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like a passion of mine. So being able to kind of pivot into something that fits better with my current lifestyle has been really, really positive for me. And yeah, I'm really thankful for that this little bullet journal channel that I started a few years ago has been able to fund my lifestyle as a stay-at-home mom, and that's a huge blessing to me. So here are the final pages, the year in pixels and when did I last, and I want to give a quick flip through here of these setup pages that one of you guys will be able to use for 2025. Again, follow me over on Instagram to see all of the giveaway details for both this journal itself and a set of my Rylee Autumn stamps. And like I said, these journals are on huge clearance right now. I love them, but I need to get rid of them. They're taking up too much space in my basement. And so I would love for you to have one to use in 2025. So head to my description for those links.